Joining us now is Kachi Ofia with stories trending around the world. Hello, Kachi. Catch the cruise.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Tunde, and good morning, Rufai. Good morning, viewers. Let's take a look at the stories trending today. Now, as Nigerian doctors strike linger, the Saudi Arabian government has organized a recruitment program for medical practitioners in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Now, in Lagos, it was gathered that each applicant paid 10,000 naira as an application fee, after which medical certificates, means of identification, and other documents were tendered at the point of documentation. Now, the job offer was for consultants and specialists in all medical fields, including psychiatrists. Meanwhile, Abuja medical doctors in various fields such as anesthesia, ICU, pediatrics and surgery, family medicine and others stormed the venue as early as 6:45 a.m. Here's a report that has been trending on social media on reactions from the doctors.
The federal government is showing the cold shoulder attitude, doesn't show any kind of responsibility or being careful about the situation. I can't imagine, I can't believe my Honorable Minister of Health came out and he threatened us. So I think it does not make sense, or it doesn't make much, it worsened the situation. To be candid, we're very, very disappointed. I personally am disappointed. When I go to where I work in a very critical care services of the hospital. But basic things that we need, we don't have. Some things I used to put in my money to buy what I need, just for the sake of the patient. And to worsen the situation and to make the matter worse, and day by day, there is no any progress.
A lot of discouraging things. You see banditry, see kidnapping, incessant strike, and all those stuff. And if you can get a place where you can work, a place that is calm, a place where you can use your skill and you can be well enumerated, is it not better?
I left medical school April 2011. My teacher is here. My own teacher, the first person I cited here, was my teacher, a seasoned pediatric consultant. You know what it means? My teacher that taught me how many years ago, meet my teacher. I mean, this is the worst. I never knew it has gone this bad.
That's the truth. No one ever knew that it had, become this bad. And again, I think we're going to get to a point in this health sector within Nigeria where the medical doctors are going to have to find a way to work independent of the government. But then again, the people who are going to suffer are the people who are now going to pay double or even triple for medical care. And then we now take the conversation back to our economy and the standard of living and how exactly people are going to be able to afford that health care. It's a downward spiral. It just keeps getting worse.
Well, I mean, what can we say? There are reports that there are 12 doctors leaving Nigeria every week in search of greener pastures. What is striking about this report that you just shared is that it's actually the government of Saudi Arabia coming to poach our doctors. It's not individual clinics coming to look for, to recruit in Nigeria. It's not individual doctors here reaching out. It's actually a government measure. That for me is quite striking. And I read a report just a few days ago. There was an interview with the former president of the Nigerian Medical Association. And he said in that interview that medical professors that are paid 420,000 naira a month can go to Saudi Arabia and earn 6 million naira a month. So it's really a no-brainer. They are going to go where the money is. They're going to go where the respect is, where they're treated as they ought to be treated. Because I recall a time when it was a big deal to be a doctor. Everybody wanted to marry a doctor. If you can't be a doctor, you marry one. And now look at the way doctors in Nigeria have been treated so disrespectfully. We had the Minister of Labor, a doctor himself, saying that we have no shortage of doctors. If they want to go, they can go. Whereas it's actually an emergency. The sky really is falling, like Chicken Little said. So you really can't blame them for trying to, create the best conditions for themselves. You're right. It's those of us who are left behind that now have to worry.
Well, isn't this the Nigerian story?
Absolutely.
In many fields, not just medicine. Many Nigerians for more than a decade now have been running away from Nigeria, trying to get better life, maybe in Saudi Arabia or other parts of the Middle East, or in North America, the United States, Canada is the latest destination for many professionals. Some go to parts of Europe because they feel that they can no longer fulfill their dreams here in Nigeria. And then, of course, we're talking about medical doctors. How about academics? Many academics, have looked for greener pasture, better opportunities in higher institutions in other parts of the world. And that is a big dilemma that we face, the inability of Nigeria to keep its best and brightest. And in the age of globalization, where labor can easily follow the money, more people will leave, and the more critical persons are perhaps the ones leaving. Now, medicine, the medical sector is very important to the extent that Nigeria, at this moment, faces a public health sector crisis. We have people suffering from cholera in 22 states. We have, as we've mentioned before on this program, COVID-19. We have the Marburg virus disease, and yet our hospitals are in a bad state. The doctors are not well treated. They are insulted. Only the other week, they were accused of not being patriotic enough. That was the statement made by Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire, who is himself a medical doctor. Now, the National Association of Resident Doctors, they're still on strike as we speak. They were taken to the industrial court. They were threatened with a no work, no pay order. And of course, 5,000 naira is what these doctors get as hazard allowance. They collect 420,000 per month, yes, but many of them don't get that 420,000 naira per month. Salary arrears, unpaid salaries. This is one of the issues at the heart of the strike, the protest by the National Association of Resident Doctors. So you now have the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Health coming to Nigeria, linking up with some local consultants, and then organizing interviews for a long queue of medical doctors. We even understand that the interview doesn't take a long time. Once you have the credentials, you are considered good enough. So this is what happens. A country that does not pay enough attention to its own priorities becomes a provider of talent for better organized environments. And at the end of the day, the people that will suffer will be the ordinary people. University students continue to lose their best teachers to universities in Europe and elsewhere. Ordinary people facing public health issues continue to lose the best doctors to other parts of the world. When people leave Nigeria to go to South Africa for medical attention, when they get there, some of the experts are Nigerian doctors. I've had someone tell me that when he got to South Africa, and the experts that they had been talking about, that everybody was referring to, that when the man came, he was a Nigerian, that he had to say, no, he cannot treat me. I ran away from people like him to come and get the best here, until they told him, no, this is the best man in the field, one of the very best in the world. But the man left Nigeria to go and work in South Africa. This should be one of the challenges we need to address.
I just have to say, it's actually professors that get 420,000. Your average doctor would be so lucky. They get more along the lines of 150,000.
I mean, that's sad. Kachi, let me paint a picture.
This is an absolute mess, quite honestly.
Let me paint a picture.
Yeah, just in 1 minute, Rufai, so we can take a break and come back to this. It's sad.
Okay, so let me start and I'll come back after the break. Let me paint a picture of how terrible things have been. I'll come back after the break and we'll talk.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Still speaking about the health sector in Nigeria and just how detrimental it's becoming for the people living within Nigeria. Rufai, you were going to paint a picture of just how messy the situation is right now, and I'm going to just let you, get to that.
Actually, let me paint a picture of how messy things have become. In the 60s, in this country, this same country, the University Teaching Hospital, the University College Ibadan, was said to be the 5th best healthcare system or healthcare hospital in the Commonwealth. Britain and some other countries in the Commonwealth. Number 5 best. This same Saudi government that is coming to take our doctors, their royal family used to come and get health consultancy in Nigeria. They will come to UCH in Ibadan. They have the best cardiologists, they had the best internists, and they will get their health care. They used to come and see Nigerian consultants in Nigeria. Down the line, now the Saudi royal family doesn't care for coming to Nigeria again. They'll just say, okay, the government should go bring the doctors for us. And now they're coming to take our best brains. That's how bad things have become. So that's to show you that we can actually make it work. We used to have the fifth best hospital in the Commonwealth at a point in this same country. What has happened over the years? Corruption, negligence. We are not ready. Strike upon strike. We don't even believe in the doctors. We don't treat them right. While politicians spend a lot of money at lavish parties, they buy iPhone 12 as guest gift in parties and the likes. But doctors are suffering. We've had like 3 to 4 strikes in the course of the year. You see, it's become a joke in this country. You can't give what you don't have. And I pray that these politicians start to think really very hard and long about what they are doing to the country. Because they think it's all a joke, because they can benefit, they can go abroad and see the best doctors. But the system is decaying. And you can't build a country this way. Very soon, I pray we don't get to a point where we don't have a country. I mean, if the NDA, Defense Academy, is being attacked, do we say have a country? So it shows that we can actually do what is right. But we choose not to do what is right because of our own selfish interests, and a lot of people are benefiting. But the question I'd like to ask those people, how long, at the detriment of your best brains leaving the country? That woman said she left medicine school 2011. 11 years ago, the teacher that taught her in school is on the way to go out to Saudi Arabia. So 2 generations of, pediatricians out on their way to Saudi Arabia. That is minus the over 4,000 doctors that have left Nigeria. That is minus the doctors that are writing PLAB currently that are going to America. Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go?
Quite honestly, Rufai, I couldn't agree with you more. When you stand from the outside looking in, how can you really relate? And then the ones who can even relate or to an extent understand what people are feeling are being held by a leash and can't say anything for fear of one thing or another. Well, let's move on and talk about another Nigerian that we've lost. Not lost in the sense that he died, but lost in terms of his talents and his gifts. Someone that could have been very beneficial to our economy. He goes by the name Ignatius Asabo, a self-taught Nigerian engineer who builds drones for agriculture using local materials. Now, he's been flown to Finland and offered immediate employment. This is by a foreign company that saw and appreciated his talent. Now, he often posts these, his works on social media, and he broke the news on LinkedIn. Now, the managing director of the Finland-based company, Mr. Ari Saatenoja, expressed so much happiness at having Asabo work with his company. He also shared a picture of Ignatius immediately after his arrival to Finland, and then wrote that Ignatius is a young Nigerian drone talent. He's just arrived to Finland, and, he's going to strengthen, their company, which is called Red Eye's survey team in the future, and bring more international expertise in the field. This is a Nigerian, a self-taught Nigerian engineer that we could have picked up. He was found on social media. So the question is, how come no one else spotted him? Do we even have availability for his talents? Can we pay what he may need to add value to our economy? We don't.
Well, probably not. But I don't think we've lost Ignatius. I think he's still going to be extremely helpful to Nigeria in several ways. We have that all-important diaspora remittance. When he goes to Finland and is getting those big paychecks, he's going to be sending money home. And his story will encourage a lot of other people. Yes.
Sundun, really?
Yes, really. His story will encourage a lot of people to not hide their light under a bushel. A lot of people will have the same level of genius that Ignatius has, and it will encourage them to also come share it on social media, which will be shared by their fellow Nigerians until trends and ends up on what's trending until somebody sees who can actually invest in them. So I do think this is still a win for Nigeria. I'm always going to try and look for the silver lining, Kachi. I can only do too much doom and gloom. I'm trying to cheer myself up right now. So I still think it's a win for Nigeria.
I'm so sorry, I'm like the minister of doom and gloom.
It's not your fault.
It's a mess. But before we commend Dr. Abatsi Rifai, yeah, I'm sorry. I just want us to take the final story so we can, take everything we have, which I also think you will find really interesting. Now, a lot of people on social media have raised questions on the methods of traffic officers adopting certain ways in apprehending offenders. Now, this is coming after a video of a uniformed traffic official of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, fell off a moving truck while trying to arrest the driver, and this video went viral on social media. Let's take a look at the trending video.
Is it what they send you?
This last
look at last man, wow.
Last man, wow. Yeah? Last man, wow. He won't brush the guy. The guy won't fall down. The guy don't eat. Jesus. Jesus.
They go your own. I'll go even cover for them.
Dr. Abatsi Rifai, I'd like you to just, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, you recall that when Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu first assumed office, transportation was one of the major themes, major items on this agenda, which he called themes. And this transportation was also part of it, apart from talks about Fourth Mainland Bridge, was also about ensuring sanity on the roads in terms of traffic control. And you recall that at the time, he tried to reorganize LASMA. He even provided incentives for them, increase their salaries and all that. But both the LASMA and other agencies in charge of transportation in Lagos continue to constitute themselves into a problem. So in this particular video that you have cited, there are two issues. That LASMA official, that traffic official, he was lucky. He could have died. Now, is that the best way that you could have apprehended that particular vehicle? In some other climes, they use technology. The traffic officials, they are well kitted. If you try to run away, they are not going to hang on the tailboard or on the bonnet of your vehicle, as we have seen in some other cases. They will have, bikes with which they can follow you, and they will have enough equipment to call for help. So that by the time you travel some distance, there will be some other officers waiting for you. And perhaps there will be cameras. So even if you run away, they will send a fine to you at home. I think we need to upgrade, the system of traffic control, traffic monitoring in Nigeria. If that LASMA officer had died when he fell off that truck, he would just have died like that. I'm not too sure that anybody will have been able to trace that truck. The second leg of it, of course, is about obeying the law. Many Nigerians do not want to obey the law. Some do not even know traffic signs. They don't understand the traffic code. They are not aware of the interpretation of basic signs on the road. So they drive recklessly. And when they are apprehended, they behave in this manner. So there are issues on both sides. On the part of a lawless driver of a truck who did not want to respect the law. And then, of course, the desperate attempt by the LASMA official to stop him. In some cases, LASMA officials have been physically beaten up, and I don't think that is the way it should be. So both at the level of drivers and also the traffic officials, there's still a lot of work to be done. As for the gentleman, Ignatius Asabo, yes, many Nigerians will be proud of him, that through his own creativity, he's been able to advertise his talent, and a company in Finland has been able to identify him. He's said to have produced a drone. He constructed a drone using local materials. It was also said to have he also came up with a crop duster, which could be used for agricultural purposes. Now we have an agency called NITDA, Nigeria Technology Development Agency. In some other countries, after his achievement became public, it will have been NITDA in Nigeria that will have engaged him, give him more opportunities, encourage him. But here in Nigeria, there are hundreds of his type who are very creative, who are very innovative, and nobody notices them. They don't have a breakthrough until maybe somebody from Europe identifies the talent. Whatever technology, whatever local materials he uses now, don't be surprised. Maybe in the future, companies, technological companies in Europe will start adopting the same technology. And we say, oh, Ignatius Asabo, he started here. But if he started here and nobody identified him and gave him necessary support, well, we will not be in a position when that future comes to complain.
I mean, Kachidi's two stories just reminds all of us the fact that strategy is good, but culture will always eat strategy for breakfast. If you don't have a good culture, then nothing will work despite your strategy. Have you ever wondered why is it that all the investments come from Europe? It's because they have a culture of entrepreneurship and they support one another. The Finland is going to, wasn't like this before, until Finland turned a new leaf in 1992. So they have that culture of entrepreneurship, investing in people, and that's why you see they get the very best. Look at that young man. Talked about Nita. Somebody will have thought of Daikon that makes military gears. At a point in time that we're fighting terrorists everywhere in this country, this man had the intellectual property to create locally made drones that we could have deployed. But Daikon will not call him up. And there's a lot of money being pumped into research in Daikon. Only God knows what is churned out. That's it. That's the society. Bad culture. The last mile official is because the culture has failed. That's why somebody can become a stuntsman because he wants to collect bribe from the boss. In the end, when you look, when last man stops you, did they really charge you? Is it not bribe they want to collect from you? So the reason why he was doing that was because of bribe. Because if the bus driver had thrown 1,000 or 2,000 naira to him, he would have put it in his pocket. So it just shows the failure of culture. That's why you can't get speed cameras. We say, okay, technology that you can capture people's plate number. How many people will drive with correct plate numbers in the first place? How many homes are adequately mapped? Have you gone to a street in this country to look for somebody's address? You see number 2 here, you see number 50 here. We can't even map streets properly. It's just a bad culture everywhere. That's why the society is not moving forward. So it just shows that the culture is wrong. We need to start looking at the culture critically. That's why people don't stay in the country.
Well, on that cheery note.
Well, I hope that someday we'll get the right kind of leadership that can make the difference. Thank you very much, Kachi.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Thanks for having me.